ask me. Ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them. We'll read them. Then we'll give you answers. You know it. I've got it. I've got the answer. The answer. You ask me. I'll tell you anything. Little quick announcement, you guys. We did this entire episode and I looked down and my microphone wasn't plugged in. And the Zoom had been picking up the audio from the other microphone, which was sitting nearby. So I apologize for the sound quality of this episode. It has been a rough few days. Please bear with us. Enjoy the show. You know how you're not supposed to throw away your old batteries? So I don't. I keep them in like a container on my assistant's desk. But then I found a cup of batteries and I was like, is this an old container or did I one day put new batteries in a cup? And so I grabbed one of them with a new battery from a package and I got enough juice, which either says that first battery was really strong or that other one wasn't totally dead.
Is there something to the fact that maybe when they tell us we need 2 batteries, they're lying and it's to sell us more batteries?
I mean, there's definitely a scam going on from Big Battery, but also my question is, why would I put batteries in a cup? And the answer is you have to memento your entire life and write everything down. So I sound a little weird just because I just woke up and we had to do this podcast this morning because it's a big week coming up. We had to. No time later. There's a heaviness. Obviously, that's an understatement to even say that. But the good news is, I've been trying to think about what's the good news I can tell people. The good news is if you are consistently hour to hour floored by how horrific the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade is, if you are having trouble wrapping your mind around this, that's good news because only a fucking evil psychopath would be okay with this. So if you are mentally exhausted, scared, and sad, that's good because that means you're normal. Those should be your reactions versus like total acceptance. Like, great, I'll just take a deep breath. So I'm with you. Every couple minutes, I'm just like, what the fuck? How? And then I guess the writing was always on the wall. But oh well.
Yeah, but it still is. I mean, is this the first time in history that we're going back? I can't think of another time in which that has happened. In our country, at least. I mean, it's obviously happened in other countries.
I mean, I can't help but think about somebody wrote in a while ago and they were talking about this. And then they, at the time, jumped to a conclusion that I thought was a little out of the box. They were like, and then they're going to repeal gay marriage. And what about, they brought up gay marriage. And I was like, all right, take it easy. That's not going to happen. Don't fearmonger. But that person was right. I don't even know if we left it in the podcast. Because when they said that, I was like, oh, maybe I should think about this. It is terrifying. Our Supreme Court is almost pure evil, with the exception of about 3 judges. Clarence Thomas is evil incarnate. Because these people are just seeking to disrupt the moral fabric of what America is now. And that is, that's everyone. It's not just old white men. People keep being like, stop letting old white men decide. I'm like, Clarence Thomas is black.
Well, but the crazy thing at Clarence Thomas is that he's like working against his own interest because it's like if you bring up all of those other Supreme Court cases, what falls in with that is Loving versus Virginia, I believe, which is interracial marriage. And
sure.
He's married to a white woman. So it's like,
who is, by the way, an evil bitch who for sure.
Evil,
so people don't know. So people know this Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, his wife, she definitely Ginny. Yeah, that's Ginny. Clarence Thomas's wife accepted money to lobby against Obamacare. Fine. You can have your feelings about that. So legal, whatever. She also was, I think we'll see here soon, partially instrumental in the insurrection on January 6th. And this is Supreme Court Justice's wife. So hopefully all of this will come out.
The fact that people are willing to work against like their own interests just to take something away from everyone is so crazy.
Because okay, we don't have to go into this. Here's the thing, because I did this show last night in LA that was like money going to the Texas Equal Access Fund. And I was doing an interview with the LA Times and I was saying, you don't want to preach to your choir. And I understand people were like, do it, preach. It gets reductive because we all, for the most part, have the same facts. We all have the same point of view on this. And there are interesting takes. There are new facts all the time. But I don't want to stand here. I don't want to sit here and be reductive. I don't want to sit here and be like, I mean, it's my right to choose. Like, we all know this. So at this point, it's not about repeating that information. It's about getting new information. Not that the people, the powers that be, care about that. It is just, I will say it's terrifying because there's no accounting for logic. You know, and as a woman, you're like, okay, let's protest. You know, we're 83% of this economy. Let's disrupt the economy. Let's stop buying stuff. Let's stop having sex. It's like, what about sexual assault? What about rape, which is a big part of this? I also just want to say this. Sorry, I know I said people are acting like, conservatives are acting like women get abortions with the frequency with which we get our nails done. An abortion is a once, maybe twice in a lifetime decision. And so limiting that, taking that away when it will have no effect on you personally and it will wreck this woman's life, in some cases kill her, and it's going to wreck your state's economy.
Right. Well, and once, maybe twice when it's a choice in terms of there's nothing wrong. There's then all the cases of people needing to get DNCs, et cetera, that are then considered,
oh my God,
you know, in the same
ectopic
category.
pregnancies.
Yeah, but your listener, I mean, the listeners to this podcast, like you said, it is preaching to the choir. The only thing they really argue with us about is masks, I feel like, and vaccines. But otherwise, I think in terms of pro-choice, they're pretty much on the same page. Well, and they're just hearing awful thing after awful thing. So this is still kind of an escape, but I feel like it couldn't be unmentioned.
It's funny, pro-mask. I mean, you don't want to wear a mask. So if you're infected, you're okay with infecting me. And yet you want to decide what a woman who you don't know in a state you've never been to, I guess in your case, your own state, can do with her body. And it's just so weird and creepy. And I think what they keep doing is using religious rhetoric because they know that people are sheep and they deeply believe in Christianity and that they will use that as these like religious warriors. But these leaders, these politicians, they don't actually care. They don't subscribe to these religious beliefs, but they know that you'll take the bait. They know that you'll eat that opiate. So a bunch of Jewish people, I think in Florida, are suing over the right to abort. I was just like, that's my people. I think everybody should just convert to Judaism and then it's a violation of your First Amendment rights. So
don't we have to take a test though? If I want to convert, don't I have to take like some sort of exam?
You got to go. You got to do like several tries because they don't want, Judaism isn't like, oh, you're just somebody, like just come on down. We want to make sure you want to be there, which is fair.
Right. I appreciate that there's not that like conversion thing of like, hey, you're wrong. It's like, if you want to do it, we're going to make sure you want to do it. I respect that.
Yeah. We all saw that episode of Sex and the City where they refused Charlotte 3 times. They were kind of rude to her, but you know, you can come on down. You can come on down. That being said, I really feel the older I get, the more I think religion is a joke. Okay. So, folks, you got questions. We've got answers. Tianfu is here. She's chewing on a dirty crab. I'm going to bring her to Las Vegas this weekend. The last place you want to bring a small dog. But I didn't bring her the other weekends and I miss her. And since I don't bring my baby, I need something to squeeze in the night.
She better not do anything bad at that hotel.
Look, she was accused of taking a giant dump in the hotel, and I don't think it was her. I just don't.
Who do you think it was?
I actually think it was another dog that had been there.
Okay.
Because I found a giant bone, like a giant bone that like some big Australian shepherd had like left behind. I was like, this isn't my dog. So that dog took a secret turd, and they're blaming my precious Tianfu, who's just baby. She's just baby with a scarred mouth. Okay.
She can redeem herself this weekend.
Okay. Your chance, Tianfu. Big money, big money.
Hi, Iliza and crew. Please keep this anonymous.
Okay.
I have a question about an Instagram DM my boyfriend recently received. I'm a 24-year-old female, and my 26-year-old boyfriend of 5 years and I recently moved to a large city. He's an airline pilot and got based here for work. He recently had a trip where he went to dinner with the captain and his girlfriend. The girlfriend had a few days off work and was accompanying her boyfriend on his work trip. At some point in the night, the captain and girlfriend mentioned that if we were ever in their city, we would have a place to stay, and my boyfriend responded, out of formality, that it was the same for them in our city. Mind you, this 3-day work trip was the first time they had all met. My boyfriend said he enjoyed hanging out with them. They all got along well. Fast forward a month or so, and this evening, my boyfriend and I were sitting on the couch, and he was like, guess who just DM'd me? In this message, she basically asked, the girlfriend asked if she and her boyfriend could stay with us in October for a large event they want to attend in our city. Oh. I found this message weird on so many levels, and I want to hear your thoughts. First of all, why did she reach out and not her boyfriend, who my boyfriend had worked with? Second, isn't it implied that the offer to stay with us was out of courtesy?
Yeah.
I could be in the wrong here. Maybe it's on my boyfriend for even putting the offer out there. Last thing to mention, my boyfriend does not get his work schedule until a month out, so there's a chance that he'll be working the days they want to stay with us, making it even weirder that I would be expected to host 2 people I never met. My boyfriend and I talked about it and agreed we didn't want them to stay with us, but he's worried if he says no and he has to work with the captain again, it'll be weird. He's only been working for the company for about a year and doesn't want to burn any bridges.
So weird.
What would you do in this situation? If it's just for a night or two, do we suck it up and let them stay because we said they could, tell the truth, or lie and say we happen to have other people staying with us that weekend? I'm annoyed that they would even put us in this situation. They are our age and both have full-time, good-paying jobs, so I'm confused why they can't pay for a hotel. Well, I don't think they're aware of this. We are in an 800 square foot, 1 bed, 1 bath. We have a pull-out couch, but God. A tight fit.
No,
my boyfriend and I saw you in Joliet and had an amazing time.
So, God, some people are
he offered.
That's so weird. That's so weird that it wasn't the captain texting him. It's also strange to me when adults with full jobs, like well-paying jobs, ask favors like that. Like, yes, you're totally right. Get a hotel. That being said, things are expensive. You could just, oh my God. Part of me is like, I know it's like, we shouldn't lie. Part of me is like, yeah, lie. Be like, we're actually fumigating that weekend. Or, hey, my girlfriend might be out of town, so I think it might be a bit much. You're absolutely right. Like, I know she's got a lot going on. Let me check with her, and then just never get back. It's okay to lie in this case because that is a weird ask. But it could also be like, have to be honest. Yeah, you guys are welcome to it. It's a fold-out couch, and we all share a bathroom. Looking forward to having you.
I mean, here's the problem. I get that when someone says like, oh, you can stay with us anytime, your boyfriend wanted to be polite and return that, but he did offer. That's 100% on him. They're taking him up on something he offered. And they sound like the kind of people where if you were like, hey, we want to stay with you, they'd be like, oh, okay. And that's just the kind of people they are. And that's not who I am, but
you know what?
Offered. So
say yes,
I think
suck it up. They're probably not going to take you up on it, especially when you tell them you live in a cat box.
Say 1 bathroom, fold-out couch.
Yes, say those things.
And and the boyfriend's gonna. Although don't say your boyfriend might be out of town because that implies more space. Be like, my boyfriend and I are here all the time. We're always in this space. Always in the bathroom.
Always in the bathroom.
I have IBS.
Yeah, we don't feel well.
Come over.
We only eat kashi, go lean crunch. Come on over. Yeah, you know what? You might just have to suck it up. He was just being nice. Yep. They probably won't take you up, but I bet they won't take you up on it.
I don't think, but they might if they're true psychos. I mean, it sucks because it's like there are just certain people that are totally fine and totally open and are like, yeah, whatever. And I'm,
you know what? That you make the best of it, and they'll come and then they'll be like, oh no, we got to get a hotel room because this is so awful. So it's not the worst thing ever, and you just do it. And they might be really cool, but they're not going to want to stay there.
And if you do it this once, you never have to do it again.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You're stuck, or just lie. Okay, kick it.
Hi, AIA crew. I've been a big fan and listener since the beginning. I'm a typical listener with a master's degree in counseling. But today, I don't know how to answer my own question. I have a 13-year-old son who used marijuana for the first time at a friend's house and was caught. I've enacted the typical consequences, no phone, no hanging out with friends. But I was wondering what your take on what you think the right consequences for the situation are. He seems to oscillate between being ashamed and sorry for his behavior and it's no big deal, it's just marijuana. So what do you think? P.S. He didn't like the way he felt after using it and never wants to use again.
Lies. He loved it. And he's like, yeah, I'll totally never. Look, parent to a teenager. So it's really hard for me to give this advice because it's like, I guess you can only punish him, explain to him that he's your most precious thing in the world and that his brain isn't fully formed and he's probably going to smoke weed later in life, but don't do it now. Kids just do what they're going to do. They're going to do what their friends want. And it's that tough thing because you're like, if you punish him too hard, he might completely snap and go the other way. So
it sounds like an appropriate punishment. I mean, I would just stress like, look, it's illegal. I'm assuming it's illegal wherever you are. It's definitely illegal underage. Like when you're an adult and you don't live with me, you could do whatever you want. Right now, you could get in big trouble and it could affect your future. Like more that angle rather than really demonizing the marijuana itself. Just being like, look, be smart.
There you go. Wait, hot update. The batteries were bad.
Oh no.
I'm dying. I have to find a new battery. Can you have a local police officer come by the house and be like, we got the alert that you were smoking electric lettuce?
I wouldn't even do that because it's like then the police, what if the police to arrest him? I don't trust them.
Yeah, you can only do what you're going to do. Or just, like, I love you. I trust you. I'm just looking out for your future. And it's tough because they're dissidents. You don't want to go with your parents, but he did admit that he didn't like the way he felt unless he's lying. So maybe don't push it. Because I think if you push it, then he's going to be like, it's not a big deal. It isn't a big deal. You're right. If you're an adult, but right now you're not.
Especially because you're saying he seemed kind of like embarrassed and ashamed. And maybe that's why he's pushing back. He's like, actually, it isn't a big deal because he's embarrassed that he got caught, that he's 13, that so he's just going, what? So what? Like, I think.
Is there a version where
you're
you
approaching it nicely?
Where you say, you know what? I'm going to give you your phone back because I trust you and I think you're a good kid and I know you won't betray that trust.
Yeah. And you just can't hang out with those kids for like a couple of weeks.
Maybe. Or he brought the weed. Or he bought
Is it your weed?
The Maui Wowie.
Question asker.
Yeah.
Hey, Iliza and gang. I'm a super fan. I love everything you do. Your last book was so great, and I can't wait for the next this fall.
Thank you. It's out in October.
So here's my story. I'm a 53-year-old lady with adult children and dating a 53-year-old man for the last 7 months, but we've been friends for 8 years. His last relationship was 1 year, and it ended because his girlfriend broke up with him.
Okay.
We started dating a few weeks after they broke up. Over the last 7 months, we've had a few conversations about him still being hurt by how his ex dumped him. I'm a successful, emotionally mature lady and don't feel threatened by these conversations. I've given him advice like writing her a letter but never sending it or cutting the cord through meditation, etc. Fast forward to last week. He and I are in a great place and I'm selling my house to move in with him. But last week, the daughter of the ex reached out asking him to go to her high school graduation in 2 weeks.
Oh.
He asked me how I felt about this. And I said it was up to him. He told her he'd go only if her mother said it was okay because he didn't want it to be awkward.
Yeah.
The ex called him and said it was okay with her. Then today, the daughter of his ex called and asked if her and her boyfriend could stay at his house for the night because they were in the city shopping. She lives an hour away. He said yes. I feel I'm pretty understanding and open-minded, but I feel the ex's daughter is up to something. My friends think the ex is in on it too because she's completely okay with everything. I told him that once the graduation was over, we're going to consider this chapter closed, that he has the closure he needs and he needs to stop indulging them. He says he understands how I feel, but his energy tells me something is unsettled within him.
Ooh.
Am I crazy? They dated for 1 year, not even a full year. Am I crazy to think this is inappropriate? I'm curious for your thoughts. Love to all, Kay.
Yeah. Her high school graduation?
Yeah.
I feel bad for the daughter because, maybe she's looking for like a father figure and he was really cool to her and he seems like a nice guy. So you don't want to spite the daughter, but being a year, it's not like they grew up together. Staying with him also is like a little inappropriate.
I wonder if that's why I wonder if he just has like a cool, easy to access place. And she was like, oh, I want to be able to go stay somewhere and like be out and about.
Yeah.
I know a guy who lives in that city.
Like, we can go drink and we can go hang out. I'll be with my boyfriend. Well, also, what are you doing shopping an hour away at 18?
That's so close.
I would say she can't stay with you. I would just cut it off there. Has he already gone to you know what? I was gonna say, why don't you go with him to the graduation? That's very weird.
That's very weird.
I wait until he gives you a real reason. I think you let these things go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the girl should stay with him. I think it's a little inappropriate. If you're there, I guess it's a little different. The whole thing's weird. The whole thing's weird because she's so young. Like, what are you doing? Why, like drive the hour home. No one shops into the night. Yeah.
But that's why I think that they're using him as a convenient place to stay, which is why I would just kind of let these two things happen. And I would guess you never hear from her again.
Yes. And if you do, then you need to be like, look, it's her or me. Yeah. What is going on? That little girl, though, it's like you don't want to hurt her, but also like, what more do you want from this man? Like, he gave you the thing you wanted. He came to your graduation. You're not wrong to have your spidey senses up. I'm just not sure what it is. So maybe let these two things go, like you said. And then... Oh, it does. Yeah. He is still like his ego is shattered, though. That's what this is.
Yeah, I think you keep an eye on it because you see how he reacts to this based on the fact that he still is like hung up on it and talking to you. And it's great that you're emotionally mature and like down to talk and advise him on this.
You're not his mom and you're not his doctor. Also, be like, great, we're going to a high school graduation. Go Lions. See you there. Watch his body language. That's weird. You don't want to do that. Make a plan to meet him right after. Graduation's at 1. Great. I'll see you at 3 for coffee.
So right. I wonder if then it's going to be like, oh, come out to dinner with us.
Yes, it will be.
It's been so long. Like, why would she be trying to parent trap her mom with someone that she went out with for a year? Like, it all seems unnecessary. I really think this girl just wanted a place to stay with her boyfriend.
I think so too. I think she saw him as an easy target. I would, maybe hold off on selling that house until these things. I just give it a beat. But you're not wrong. You're not right, but you're not wrong. How's that?
Yeah. Hello, a question for the podcast.
Okay.
I had naturally dark brown hair, but went prematurely gray. I've been coloring my hair since my 20s. I'm now 44, and last year I had chemotherapy for treatment of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oh, God.
As my hair grew back, I wasn't ready to be gray/white, so I started coloring blonde for ease of maintenance. My hair also grew back
blonde's so hard to maintain. Okay.
I guess turning white to blonde is maybe easier.
Okay.
Or gray to blonde.
Okay.
My hair also grew back curly, which it was straight before chemo. Since returning to work and running into people, I'm frequently asked if that's my natural color. Tired of attention on my new hair as it's been a lot to go through this past year. I need a good comeback to people ask if it's my natural color. No one did this before. It's so annoying. Love the podcast.
I'm sorry. Is your colorist that gifted that they're like, oh, do you have natural highlights? It never looks. Also, are they looking at your eyebrows? Like, chances are your eyebrows are dark.
Right. Why is everybody asking if it's your natural color? That's so weird.
You know what? People always ask, like, give me a good comeback. I'm not at the level of fed up as you are, so it's hard for me to like empathize. But can't you just be like, yep, move on? Be like, actually, no, chemo is my natural color. This is what I got now. The truth is nobody really cares what your answer is. There's no, like, whatever you tell them, like, are they going to file that away under like things we know about Susan's hair? They're asking the question for the sport of asking it. So you don't need to give any thought to the answer. Is that your natural hair color? Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Or anyways. No. Or no, this is no one's natural hair color.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like, what are you hoping to get out of them? Even if you give a funny answer, like, you don't want to talk about it. Yep, no, move on. And if they keep going, just be like, well, I had cancer. Leave me alone. Just say I
think people are so boring and they don't know what else to talk about. And they're like, she's a blonde. Let's talk about that. Like, people just want to say something.
Yeah, I feel that way about people trying to pronounce my last name. Iliza, is it Celsic? I'm like, I don't care how you fucking say it. Let's just move on. It's tough because they don't know that you're like at capacity. So I would just be like, nope, natural color's purple. Let's move on. I don't know. So I'm so sad about Roe v. Wade. Okay.
Okay. Hi, Iliza. First off, your work ethic and drive is fucking inspiring, and I could go on and on about your limitless talent. Anyway, I'm a massive fan.
Thank you.
My question is, have you ever in childhood or adulthood had a strange recurring dream? And what do you think they mean? I had a recurring dream growing up almost every night. My mom would take me and my sister to the gas station with $5 to pick out candy. Our grandpa would do that when he picked us up for school. She said if I didn't make a decision by the time she walked out the door, she would leave me. I finally picked out my candy and she was walking out the door. My feet were glued to the ground and I had my ability to speak was gone. This is from @ShanMag. doesn't want to be anonymous.
So let everyone know kind of fucked up dream Shan Mag's having. Yes, my reoccurring dream is, the theme is reoccurring where I can't get to class.
Ugh.
Like we had a block schedule that floated. Like, so every day you took classes at a different time in real life. That's how my high school worked. So you had to memorize this whole schedule. And in my dream, I can't remember what blocks go with what class. And I have dreams that I've gone the whole semester and I forgot to take a class. I'm like, well, how am I going to do this exam? And then I have this recurring dream that like, I don't know where the class is. And I'm like trudging through my middle school, weirdly, trying to find it. And then I have the dream where my legs are so heavy, I like can't get across the campus. And like, I really enjoyed high school. So I don't know why these are all those.
Yeah, I used to have a lot of recurring dreams that now I can't think of any of them. But one recurring theme in a lot of my dreams was that I would try to give someone the finger and I wouldn't be able to lift my hand, or I'd put up the wrong finger and it would be embarrassing. And I don't think in my life, I've maybe done that. I've maybe given the finger less than 5 times ever in my entire life. But in my dreams, I'm like always trying to flip the bird and my fingers won't go up, or I'm like a claw. It has happened so many times.
I'm just imagining you with like your little baby hand being like, meh. My bird is my man, my moped goes here, man. I also have the dream where you're about to go on stage for a play, but you don't know your line.
Oh. Yeah.
So I think these all have to do with stress and anxiety. You probably love your mom very much. I don't know I also don't know. Yeah. I don't believe the dreams mean anything new. I think it's always your brain sort of cleaning itself out at night and getting rid of your stresses and anxieties due to various work things or life or whatever. So, but yeah.
But it's always so crazy when you have a dream and you wake up and you know exactly what it's about. Like, you know, that's because I'm stressed about this thing in my life. Like, you can tie it so clearly to a specific thing going on with you.
I'll tell you, when I've been really upset, really scared, really stressed, I've had dreams about Blanche. Like, she comes to me in the dream and I think it's like a soothing thing. I think my brain does that, or the universe, to be like, hey, you're okay. Here's Blanche. And I haven't had that in a very long time. The worst is when you have a dream about, I could cry, about something that you miss or want, and you wake up and you were just there. Like, oh my God, they were just here.
Yeah.
No. Or have dreams were like about like a hot dude, but we never kiss. We're about to, and then we wake up. Oh no.
And then you try to go back to sleep and it's like, no.
Why can't I never remember his name? Who plays Captain America? Chris
Evans.
Yeah. Oh no, Chris Evans. There you go.
I also do have a lot of dreams where I find like loose kittens or something and they need my help and I can't get them help fast enough. And that's not surprising.
Can I tell you something? I saw a TikTok, which is becoming a problem. I have to take it off my phone. I saw, it's like I get all my news from there. I saw a TikTok the other day of a woman, looked like she lived in Australia, and a lorikeet would visit her window and she would open the window and it would crawl on her arm and sit on her shoulder, and it like kept visiting her. And I stopped watching and I was really sad that a lorikeet, like I don't have a bird that visits me. You always want that connection with nature, that like raw, like connection where you're like, oh, I'm safe. And then instead you get a crow just screaming in your backyard.
When I was living at my parents' house, from my window, I could see a bunny came by multiple times, a turtle walked by, some chipmunks. This like little lizard would come visit Gracie on the windowsill every day. I had a spider that was giving birth. Now I'm just here and I don't got anything. I don't have any animals visiting me.
Look closer. Look under your floorboards and look in your air conditioning ducts. You at least got a raccoon.
Big moth keeps coming.
There you
go.
Here, that can be your new friend.
I don't want that.
Okay, let's just move on. I had a fun story and then you made it lame.
What? Tell your fun.
That was
the
it.
Story you already told
about the lorikeet. And you're like, I had a moth give birth.
No, the spider gave birth.
Oh my God, spiders don't give birth; they just open up the gates of hell.
Did you know snails and eggs come out of their necks?
Yeah, Emily. Everyone knows that.
I saw a video of it this morning.
Okay. Is it a neck or is it a pouch?
They're folded up so that all their holes are on one side.
You do it right, folks. Okay. Lorikeet.
Iliza, longtime listener here. I'm a female 30. My husband and I have really been put through the ringer the past few years. Some of the worst bits have been that we've had our parked car totaled twice.
Oh, Jesus.
My dad got diagnosed with cancer and my husband's mom died suddenly.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry about your car.
My question might be above your pay grade a bit, but I'd love some advice on how to look on the bright side with this stuff, because honestly, we just keep feeling like we're getting kicked when we're down, and it's pretty hard to not feel like things are forever a shit show now. I know that's kind of a rough thing to ask, but your outlook and sense of humor really speaks to me, and I'd love to hear some sort of insight. Thanks in advance. This podcast brightens my day whenever I listen.
I'll give you the Jewish take on this, and the answer is it could always be worse. Always be worse. What?
Are you parking your car in the same spot?
Yeah, what's up with that?
In two different spots? What's happening with where is your car being parked?
Look, there's
middle of the highway.
Quotient on how much bad luck we get in our lives. I saw this thing the other day about this woman that was like, I hate bright siding. And I was like, what is that? And she's like, it's how women are always told to look on the bright side and like be positive. And there is something to telling people that too much, because it's like you're allowed to be upset. I guess I have a relative whose girlfriend broke up with him and he was super sad about it. And I went up to him and I was like, hey, just, it's always darkest before the dawn. And he was kind of shitty to me. And he was like, oh, I don't need your platitude. And I was just like, but the bad news is when it's dawn, it's about to be dark again. So I think I was like, don't be a piece of shit to me. I'm trying to help you. We're only given so much bad stuff at once. I'm not the kind of person that's like, the Lord giveth and taketh for a reason. But, there are lessons to be learned in everything, and pain does help you grow. And maybe you've earned like a little vacation. Maybe those lessons are there to teach you to like make the best with the relatives that you do still have, God, I hate all this advice I'm giving you. It's hard for me to give that advice because I haven't lost anyone in the way that you have. So it's unfair for me to be like, just keep plugging along. There are things to be excited about in this life. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to have these feelings, and it's okay to take an E and take the L and just be upset for a little bit and let it run through you. I think people rush to process things. It's okay to fully feel it and to seek therapy and to just let it go through you, because you want to process it properly. Think of yourself as a giant liver. You want to process all those toxins out. But, maybe it's a night out you guys deserve. Maybe you can just be a little bit kinder to yourselves. Whenever I have a bad day, I'm always like, that's okay, because now I get cheese. I get cheese and a margarita. What's your cheese and a margarita?
Ew, are you mixing those things?
No, but just you get something fun, or we go to a fun dinner. It used to be, let's go out and get wasted. Now we have the baby and I don't want to go anywhere. But sometimes I have a bad day. I'll just open up a clean, crisp Giant and I'll watch Shark Tank that's saved from 3 years ago.
Are you running an insurance scam with your two totaled cars?
Yeah, that's weird. Are you making poor choices?
At least you guys have each other. Well, no, I just think my immediate thought if someone was like, oh, my car was totaled while it was parked, would be like, well, at least nothing like that's going to happen again. And then it happens again.
Have you considered taking up stand-up comedy? Because you have so much bad luck. All these bad things, you make a great act. When lightning strikes twice, it's hilarious. Like Tianfu stepped on a bee twice in one day. Different. That
was so sad.
So I always say, like, when something happens one time, it sucks. A second time, it's a conspiracy. But a third time, it's funny.
Right. So just get that car totaled one more time.
Get that third relative or something like that. But you'll be okay.
There's that guy who was struck by lightning multiple times in his life, and then his grave was struck by lightning. It's like, oh my God.
That's someone trying to tell you something. Also,
or that
how come nobody is struck by lightning and then they're much smarter, like they said in the movies?
No, they never weird science. They're just always like kind of fried.
Yes, they're always just like my retinas.
Or they have those crazy branching scars.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool for my dating app. My profile.
Hi, Iliza and Emily. How do I tell my mom I'm not looking for a relationship? Context. I'm 21.
Is your mom trying to date you?
21 female, Jewish. I don't know if it's important, but it's context. And I'd say I'm pretty cute. Throughout middle and high school, I had a few crushes, but never acted on them because the guys at my school were not great people once you got to know them. Anyway, like I said, I'm 21 now and still haven't actually dated anyone, like ever. And I think my mom is getting worried. She keeps suggesting I go to these dinners, which seems so boring, so that I can meet people.
What dinner?
I don't know.
Like right. It's in our kitchen.
I don't know what I'm looking for in a relationship because most guys my age that I've met are looking for hookups and the others are looking to get married at a young age like their parents. Sure. I'm just looking for my first real date. Any suggestions on how to respectfully tell her that it's none of her business? Thanks. Love the pod. Girl Logic and your specials.
You know, it is her business because she's your mother. And you're like a little adult now. And she's like, what do you mean it's not my business? I don't know that she's worried for you as much as she wants to make sure that, you know, you're okay. You're not dating because something happened. So maybe you reassure her, I'm okay and I'm taking it at my own pace. I think what your mom is really asking is if you're gay. So let her know if it's the truth. Either way, it's okay.
What if it sounds like you're in a community that's very insular in the fact that everybody's like trying to get married young like their parents, that there is some sort of weird, boring dinner where you can meet someone. Like that's just not your vibe. If you're in college, you know,
is she in college?
Meet someone there. I don't know. She's 21, so I don't know the deal. But I think you need to try to meet someone outside of this specific community.
I also wonder, you know, I'm not criticizing you. Most girls at 21 do want to find someone because also, as we've heard from the pod, they're like, I haven't met someone yet. I guess I'll just die alone. Should I give up on love? I'm 21. Your age, you know, you're going out and you're meeting guys and it's okay if you're not into that. But if you are healthy and normal and you're okay, I wonder if there is something in you where you're like, I didn't connect with the guys in high school. Now you're saying that they aren't good guys. I am just going to go out on a limb and guess, did you feel you couldn't get those guys? Because I always defaulted to like being the funny girl because I was like, these guys are so hot and I'm not hot enough, you know, and whether that's true or not, you know, I kind of just, especially being from Texas, like there's cute guys and there's always cuter girls and can't say a sense of humor is really valued in a 17-year-old. So I'm wondering if part of you feels a little gun shy from high school and you're carrying that with you. And this is the age where you start to kind of branch out and find yourself, do you want to do dating apps? You know, I'm not saying you should, but you might want to ask your mom why she thinks that. This might require some introspection. If all of that is wrong and you just want her off your case, I think you look at why you want her off your case. Are you not doing any dating? And it's not typical for a 21-year-old girl to have like no interest in boys or girls.
It sounds like you want to date, but you're just kind of, you don't want to date the people your mom wants you to date.
And that could be that, like you said, you're Jewish, you're probably reformed, but you know, is this like a Orthodox situation or are you on the dating apps and you're trying? Is it enough to say to your mom, like, I'm trying, you know? Mm-hmm. Are you going on first dates? They're not working out. I think we need a little bit more, but I'm wondering if there's something deeper here. But also just tell your mom will explain to you that she loves you and she just wants to see you happy. And you'll be like, I am happy, but it really hurts when you constantly check up on me because it makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong. And she'll be like, that's not what I mean. You'll be like, okay, I just need a beat.
Right. Are you living with your mom? And that's part of it?
Is the bedroom in the living room? Like, is the bed in the living room and she wants to see it occupied? God. Let us know. No one ever lets us know.
Okay. Multiple people sent in this post from Reddit asking for your take. So I'm going to read you this post because it's so ghastly. All right. Ooh. It's an AITA. Am I the asshole for not having catering at my wedding?
Yes.
My female 28. My fiance, male 30, just got married 2 months ago and we had our dream wedding. Everything was perfect. And I mean, everything. My parents and his parents helped us pay for a great chunk of the wedding so we'd be debt-free and we are eternally grateful. The issue arose about a month and a half ago when my aunt started posting on Facebook about how disappointed she was with the whole ordeal.
Oh my God.
And a few guests sided with her. Background. My fiance and I are huge Disney fans and we travel to Disney World as much as we can throughout the year. Disney is such an important part not only to us, but also our marriage.
I'm sorry, this is just the thread. Like this person's not writing to me?
No, this person is not writing you, so you can rip them a new one. Everyone else is sending this in.
I cringe at adults that are obsessed with Disney. I think it's a weird sex thing, and I think it's a stunted growth thing, and they're never attractive. It's always fucking weird. I don't like it.
There are a few people that can get away. I think the people who have like worked there and have a connection with it, fine. But just the adults who visit the park, I don't get it. Okay, so
Emily. You're like, don't come for the employees. I'm not. Chances are, if you work there, you're not like going back to work. You're not shitting where you eat. No, I'm saying
because I knew some employees and like they're into it 'cause it's like their thing.
Oh my god, cool defending your dork friends. Okay, they're definitely not listening. That aunt, by the way, is an asshole, but that's awesome.
I think it must have been so bad for the aunt after the wedding to go on Facebook and be like, what the hell was that? But okay, we're not to the worst part here because the issue is with our decision.
Going to Disney World all the time.
No, it's shockingly
spending
not.
All your income. Okay, fine.
On what are those pineapple things that they drink? They have a special drink there. Okay.
Dole Whip, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I love Dole Whip. So tasty. So I saw one the other day in Canada and I was like, Dole Whip.
The issue was with our decision to not offer catering services or bar services at our wedding due to routing that money towards having a wedding Minnie and Mickey make appearances at our special day.
Oh.
The cost to have both Minnie and Mickey for a good chunk of time, 30 minutes, was almost exactly what our parents allotted for our catering budget. So we scheduled an appearance during our first dance and our wedding photos, forgoing served food, though there were plenty of facilities at the venue where people could eat.
What?
My parents were still so I don't know if this is like
married at a mall?
I don't know, like a park, I don't know. My parents are still very supportive of us, but everyone else is being passive aggressive about it on Facebook. Edit. To those asking if the guests were warned, we clearly outlined in the invitations that there was food available at the venue. We didn't exactly spell out every restaurant's menu, but it was certainly mentioned. There were also vending machines available throughout.
Okay, yes, you are the biggest asshole with Mickey Mouse ears. Yeah, that's awful. Food at the venue first of all, the fact that you even brought up food, because it's implied that there will be food because it's a wedding. So people are like, oh, that's weird. They said that. I'm sure there'll be food. Vending machines, you guys are selfish. Those people are selfish assholes. So people just stood there hungry and thirsty and not drunk watching you dance with Minnie and Mickey Mouse. Cool. I can't wait to see what your kids are like. Cool.
How much? The entire catering budget was Minnie and Mickey. What do you think that is? Like $3,000? I don't know how much that costs. Like $1,000?
Between like $3,000 to $5,000. Also, I'm sorry, get a budget Minnie and Mickey Mouse.
Right. Get
it's
people.
His birthday. Oh my God. I want to know who are the people on Reddit that are like, we totally side with you. As a goofy enthusiast.
No one side with them. But to say Disney is also very important to our marriage is so upsetting.
It's so creepy. Also, people use their weddings as an excuse to just become the biggest monsters. And I really hate to malign women, but it does tend to be a thing where a girl's like, it's my day. I'm beheading everyone. So it's weird. It's selfish. I doubt you're going to have any friends after this. Your parents are required to love you, but thank God for that aunt putting you in your place. That's so selfish and gross. Everybody agrees with me. This is up there with Roe v. Wade being overturned. We're all on the same page.
Okay. If your child was like, okay, we're going to use this money for a Minnie and Mickey, could you still love them?
It would be hard. I would not attend the wedding. I'd be like, this was for... I mean, but yeah, I could. I'd be like, as long as there was food.
As long as there was... It didn't even have to be expensive food. You could have done cheapo food and cheapo Minnie and Mickey, and people would have been happier.
What venue is this? That's what I want to know. What venue has restaurants available?
I feel like if it had been Disney, they would have said that. So it's not Disney. I wonder if it was like a botanical garden or a park or something that has like a snack stand. You know what I mean?
Let me explain to you your wedding. People, for the most part, are only excited for you within the range of $100 to $200, meaning they're giving you a gift within that price range, and you need to spend that money on them, food and beverage wise. Okay. Nobody is just happy to be there. And we're just so honored that it's you within 100. So that's food and alcohol. And in exchange, you get a gift. Okay. There's no free lunch here.
How much do you want to bet that the wedding invite said something like, with a special surprise guest?
Oh my God. And everybody was like, okay, cool. Maybe that guest had made sandwiches or something. Whenever I look at comedy flyers and they'll be like, and surprise guest. I'm like, okay, it's probably Dane Cook. It's never like Dave Chappelle.
For the most part, when Dave Chappelle or Adam Sandler or someone is dropping in, they're not allowed to say anything and they don't say anything. And then that person just shows up. Like, very rarely are they telling you.
Of like an anonymous person. It's like, and a surprise guest. You're like, okay, cool. This is 10:30 in North Hollywood. Can we go home?
It just means that person like cannot commit to that evening and might cancel.
Or as I've done it before, sometimes it means you have a stalker situation or you're selling tickets and you don't want to violate your radius clause. Anyways, that person's awful, and just speaks to what I always thought about people who are obsessed with Disney. Weird.
So when I get married, I'm going to pay for someone to wear a lifelike Gracie costume and take photos with all the guests.
You know what? You're looking at me as you say it. I'll do it as long as there's food.
You'll do it.
I'll do it. I'll be there.
Then I get to have catering because I'm just going to pay you in a little plate of whatever.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for that all-you-can-eat Twinkie Taco Bell buffet. Nuptial for me. All right.
Hey, Iliza. Baby arm. Iliza, question asker, frequent flyer with a real quick one for you. What's your hot take on people who use self-checkout for an entire grocery trip? Not just like 5 to 6 things, but a whole week's worth. Does Carol Burgess have answers to this insanity?
Oh, man, we need Carol Burgess now. We needed her.
More than ever.
Needed her judging. Guess I never thought about it. I guess if there's no limit and if the line is really long and you can do it just as fast yourself and you don't have alcohol because that always requires a manager coming over. I don't think it matters. I never thought of self-checkout as something that has like a limited amount requirement.
I guess I think of it as being kind of like the quick option. I feel like if one person is taking up one with like their month's worth of shopping, all right, whatever, they'd be taking up one of the other ones. But I guess people do use it as like a quick get in, get out, not even talk to the workers.
Are there tons of people waiting to use it? I mean, that being said, you're going to lose that time coming or going. So like, if the grocery store, you're going to have to wait in line.
It's weird, but not illegal.
Yeah, I guess I don't think I would have thought twice if I saw someone with a full cart. I guess I never thought of it as express. It's just self-checkout.
I would think twice because I've never seen it in my life. As a frequent self-checkout user, I've never seen anyone with more than like a basket. But I just be like, oh.
You can never, self-checkout rarely works flawlessly. It's always like, oh, these bananas aren't ringing up. I've got to call the produce czar to come over.
It always freezes up. And I'm like, I'm just buying puddings. I'm not buying alcohol. Let me through.
I'm just buying puddings. I'm over 30.
I'm not buying puddings.
I'm just trying to cater my wedding.
They could have, if you were at the Minnie and Mickey Mouse wedding and they gave you a pudding cup, that would be better than what they did.
It would be worse. It would be even creepier. It would be even more after school cartoony. No. So weird.
If they're like, here's your juice box and your pudding cup, come take a picture with Mickey and Minnie.
I'll be like, okay.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Your guests didn't even really get to enjoy them. You're saying you paid the entire budget for them to be there 30 minutes during your first dance and 4 pictures. They weren't even there like milling about with the guests. They were just interacting with you. Look,
all I keep thinking about, remember Jell-O? Do they still do it? Jell-O pudding cups, and they'd have the layered chocolate, vanilla chocolate. That vanilla was so good.
So good. You eat the top part first and then the second part and then the last part. You don't mix it because then you might as well get a chocolate.
That's right. Only crazy people who have Minnie and Mickey at their wedding mix their chocolate and vanilla.
I am listening to the Doctors Without Emotional Borders episode asking if a woman should tell the fiance or not about their affair. And when someone needs/wants to tell someone something without it being traced, I always recommend having someone else mail it so that the postmark isn't even related to you. I'm in a large group chat of 2020 moms 1 to 2 dozen women from all across the country and other countries. And I always tell them that if they need to send something of that caliber, type it up, email it to me, and I'll put it in the mailbox with my city postmark that will literally never be traced back. Plus, the absolute tizzy who put some baby daddies / mother-in-laws in would be worth it in its own right. I feel like this is a good tip for, in general right now, sharing news. Have someone else mail it.
If you want to recap the initial question, I think it was about they knew someone was cheating, and it was like, how do you let the woman know that
I think this was the one, the person was having an affair with the question asker was having an affair.
But this was all about like, how do you let someone know? And we're like, oh, you could write a letter. Chances are most people aren't going to trace things. Most people just throw away an envelope. And then they're like, oh no, it's covered in marinara sauce. I can't go back and look at it. But yes, always email it. That's great, to a friend, and have the friend send it. That way your hands are completely clean if that person did some sleuthing. So there you go. Take it to your own hands. Take the streets.
Hey, Iliza crew, longtime fan and listener, first-time question asker. I need to say I love this podcast, and it is the highlight of my week. My question: am I the asshole for telling my advisor I'm going home? Context: I'm a 23-year-old grad student working on my master's in biological sciences. I was awarded an assistantship to cover my tuition for a summer research course. It also provided me with money to live off of for 4 weeks while I work on my thesis. When I talked with my advisor about what I wanted to get done over the summer, he said, we'll have to plan for more lab work in later weeks because I'll be traveling. I said that was fine, as I had saved a little money so I could survive a couple more weeks without pay as long as we were getting work done, so that I would have less stress in the fall. When it was time for him to be back so I could ask him questions over lab work and have him as a guide, as it is a process I've never done before, he told me that he was having a medical procedure done and he was not going to be able to read or be in lab for several weeks. Naturally, as I wanted to get this lab work done, I watched YouTube videos, read literature, and did the lab work very well, if I say so myself. Eventually, I ran out of the solutions, as well as DNA purification columns needed to do lab work. The school cannot order anymore as they are on a spending freeze until the end of July, and I cannot make the solutions myself. They're very sciencey and cannot be made by a grad student who is simply just out here believing in himself. But I got over 54 trials done in 2 weeks and feel accomplished with what I could do. Flash forward, and my last week is next week. My advisor sends me a message asking me about the work I was able to do and what I'm going to do for the rest of the summer. I told him I needed him to order more solutions and columns, and I could start back up on work in the fall. All of my specimens I'm using are frozen, so I won't go bad while I'm at home working to pay for next semester. When I told him this, he was passive-aggressive and told me I could simply find a job on campus and work on my thesis while I asked other professors for the solutions I needed, and maybe they might have it. The job I have back home pays double what the jobs on campus are paying. I'd be staying with my parents so I wouldn't have to buy groceries, and I told him this plan multiple times before, and he was fine with it. I asked the head of the stockroom manager and inventory manager about what I needed, and they told me that anyone who would have the solutions is gone for the summer, and the only person who used the purification columns I need is my advisor. So for this, I just decided to tell him that I'm going home, as we had discussed several times because there's nothing I can do. Am I the asshole for committing to my plan, or should I have changed it? Thank you for all your advice and appreciate all the work you do.
Purification. DNA purification columns. My specialty. Well, it does seem like he kind of left you in the lurch. And it does seem like you did the most you could. And you can just simply be like, you're the only one that can order them. I also find it odd that like he's able to respond to emails, but he can't read anything and he can't order your materials. It sounds like he was the roadblock in this, and your specimens are frozen and your work is there and you were there to do the work, and it's not your job to do it guideless. You were supposed to do it with someone. I would keep records of all of these emails. Because you don't want it to get to a place where you have to like talk to the headmaster and be like, this is like standing in the way of this. And so what was supposed to happen? He was supposed to come back and you were supposed to like, did you know?
Supposed to, I think this was all on that guide for not arranging an alternative when he decided not to start for the first few weeks, not telling you, hey, let's push it back. And then after we push it back, I'm having a medical procedure, which it sounds like was not a surprise medical procedure. It sounds like he was just like, oh yeah, I need to push it back. Then I'm busy with this. Then I'm busy with this. He had no thought for you at all. I would maybe go to the school and see about arranging for a different advisor if that doesn't like tank the work that you've already done. Or if you think you can get the stuff from him in the fall, fine. But like, what if you get back in the fall and he's like, actually, I'm on vacation. And you're just like, well, this guy has not been an advisor to you at all. Like,
at all.
There must be someone else.
You're paying a lot to go to this school. You're getting a degree that matters. Your quality of education matters. So before you go to the mat on this one, I would just take your job, save up your money, come back. And if he is an issue at all, and if he's combative, then I would just take all this evidence and I would write it out. Like, he did not advise me. He went for a surgery. I told him I needed this equipment. He did not order it. He told me to order it from someone else. Everybody was gone. This institution has failed me. But I would he's not worried about you, so you need to not worry about him. Go do your job for the summer. Your specimens are frozen. Come back, resume your work, and just get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, you sound like you are very smart and have a very good head on your shoulders, and your plan is better than his, and I'm glad you went with your plan. You need to go make some money. Like, you even already extended yourself when he pushed it back. For what? He pushed it back for what? He didn't help you.
Yeah, smart, but not smart enough to make up your own DNA column dissolving solution. Not so smart now.
Okay, top of the cob.
Oh, boy. Right.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
We all know the bottom of the cob.
Yeah.
We all know the bottom of the cob. And, their anger. And there was, this rhetoric going around that's not untrue about how people are like, oh, because it deals with white women now and their bodies, they're upset. Please don't count me in that bunch. I have always been upset about reproductive rights. I've always been a fierce advocate for being pro-choice. And I was doing an interview yesterday and I was like, there is an anger, and I get it, toward white women. And it hurts when you are a white woman. It's not about fragility because you're like, well, I do care about these things, but it is very difficult to empathize when something doesn't affect you wholeheartedly. And this is not just about being white. This is if you're not Jewish and you see a synagogue on fire, it doesn't affect you the same way. If you're not black and you see something happen in the black community or Latino, because we're only human and we can only imagine things within our own experiences. But I can promise you this, as an upper middle class white woman who, to be honest, this decision does not specifically affect me. I already have my baby and I live in California. And as long as we have a Democratic president, it shouldn't be an issue. If we get a conservative president, Roe v. Wade will become a federal law. And that is a huge problem, as one fan pointed out to me. It's not just in the state's hands regardless. Anyway, I will use my privilege and resources to stand up for everyone because this matters. We have to take care of each other. This isn't about me. I'm fine. No one I know is affected by this. I'm totally fine, but this isn't about me. This is about other people, all colors, all financial entry points. This is about women taking care of women, and this is about allies standing up for what is right. So I will be there in this fight, doing more than just simply posting things. But as a celebrity, what I can do is continue to speak, hoping that people that are listening that perhaps don't subscribe to what we say come into the fold, posting resources, doing benefits, and being that voice. And I will do what I can with what I have where I am. That's my cob. And
both sides?
The bottom is that, and the top is that it is nice to see people galvanized all on the same side. I think with a lot of social issues in the past, there's a lot of backbiting within a liberal party. A lot of, during Black Lives Matter, I did the whole joke about like, it's just this woke off with white people and who's doing it best. And in this case, because it affects so much of us and so many people are against it. And the laws that are being carried out are not the will of the people. It's good to be in the fight with you guys. So here we are. Wish we didn't have to do it. It's just my cob.
Yeah. Oh, well, my bottom is I live in Georgia. And my top is things that are s'mores flavored.
Wait, but s'mores flavored is kind of gross if it isn't hot, I think.
Well, okay, let's say so chocolate bar when it has little chunks in it, ice cream when it has like graham and marshmallow.
Oh, you're so cute.
You're like, I just like these things. I just want to check out. And the guy in front of me has a whole cart. Do you ever
They should make s'mores flavored pudding, but I don't think they do.
I'm sure they do in some test lab somewhere in the South. Have you had the Russell Stover's s'mores? This is actually delicious. I thought it would be gross. You know, Russell Stover, they make chocolates.
Yeah.
It's individually wrapped s'mores. So it's graham cracker, chocolate, and like a soft marshmallow. And I thought it would be gross, but it's actually delicious. It turns out the marshmallow doesn't have to be hot for it to be taste-o.
Well, you know, what I have in my kitchen right now is something you gave me that is a little microwave s'mores maker that is 2 little arms, and you put water in the tank and you put it in the microwave and it makes little s'mores. I haven't made any at my new home yet, but I like knowing that I can, courtesy of you.
Anytime.
Actually, can my top be something nicer, which is
we already just
sent the nicest housewarming gift, and I want to tell people so that they do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's brilliant.
I was hoping you would bring up my gift.
I thought this was so thoughtful and so smart because you told me you were like, you know, I was gonna get you like a housewarming gift, but then I realized there's like things that people need that they don't realize they need. So I just got everything I didn't think of, like hydrogen peroxide, a little sewing kit, like a good measuring tape, like salt, like Pyrex cups, scissors, like all this stuff that you're just like, oh God, yeah, I did need to get that. Literally, I had ordered something for myself and the same day batteries came from you and the thing I had needed batteries. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't have any batteries. Like it was just all those things that when you move into a place, you don't think about because they're just kind of, when you live somewhere, you just accumulate those things, but you don't move them with you.
Yeah.
And it's been so immensely helpful. It was such a thoughtful array, a suite of gifts.
Most welcome. I sat there on Amazon and I was like, Myrna, come sit with me. She's the baby nurse. And I'm like, we just went through and she was like, cutting board. And I'm like, cutting board?
Yes.
And I'm like, measuring tape. So we went through as women, as homeowners, and we just went through and got you all the stuff. And next on our list is a spider birthing center.